Our story kicks off in Australia, right in the thick of World War II. We see a group of soldiers standing at attention in front of their commander, who starts telling them the story of his missing arm. He tells them he lost it in Turkey during a massive explosion that went off right next to him and his buddy. He explains that his friend sacrificed himself to save him, dying in the blast. The commander drives home a crucial point. The most important person to a soldier in war is his comrade, and every one of them needs to understand the meaning of sacrifice. Then, he gives them a brutal order: head into the jungle, navigate the entire thing, and be back at camp within exactly 4 hours. The warning is clear. If even one man is late, they all have to do it over again. Without hesitation, the soldiers move out at top speed, running through the jungle in the pouring rain. During this grueling drill, we see one stubborn soldier named Kelly who refuses to help any of his teammates. Suddenly, one of the soldiers falls into a deep pit of mud and starts to drown. But at the last second, his comrade, Leo, shows up and pulls him from a certain death. The rescued soldier thanks him and introduces himself, saying, "My name's Will." Leo doesn't stop there. He grabs Will's pack to lighten his load so he can move faster. But Will is completely exhausted and can't run anymore. Leo refuses to leave him, helping him up and running with him all the way to the camp. They manage to make it back just seconds before the time runs out. The commander salutes Leo for his courage and for helping his comrade. He tells them to go eat and rest as a reward. As for the other soldiers, he orders them to continue their training. Kelly objects to the commander's decision, but the commander shuts him down, explaining that Leo helped his buddy and earned the reward. Kelly goes back to training, glaring at Will and Leo, seething with anger. That night, Will is sitting with Leo in their tent. He asks a question that reveals his fear. Have you ever killed anyone before?" Leo understands that Will is terrified of the war and reassures him, saying he's never killed anyone. He tells him that fear is natural. It can be the very thing that saves you from death, or it could be the reason you lose your life. The difference is up to him to decide on the battlefield. In that moment, a memory hits Leo. He remembers being on a boat with his brother Archie. Archie asked him to let him dive underwater like him, but Leo firmly refused. He told him the water was too deep and filled with scary, terrifying things, and he couldn't dive until he was truly ready. Back in the present, Will and Leo join the rest of the training. During the drill, Kelly decides to get his revenge. He hits Will and knocks him to the ground. Leo doesn't hesitate. He goes right over and lands a powerful punch on Kelly. Kelly attacks him, and a brutal fight breaks out between them in the middle of the water. The commander and the other soldiers just watch to see who will win. It's clear Leo is stronger and is about to win. This makes Kelly lose it. He pulls out a dagger, fully intending to kill Leo. The commander screams at him to drop the weapon. Leo uses the distraction to punch Kelly. Kelly hits him back, but Leo suddenly dives into the river and vanishes. The commander gets worried and orders Kelly to find him. Kelly says he can't see him. All of a sudden, Leo bursts out of the water like a ghost and delivers a knockout blow right to Kelly's face. Afterward, Leo asks the commander for permission to go to the medical tent to get treated, since he was injured. The situation turns comical when all the other soldiers pretend to be injured too, all wanting to go to the medical tent. The truth is, they just wanted to get close to the beautiful nurse, Hazel, and her friend, Susie. Later, we see Kelly playing cards with his buddies, and it's obvious he's lost a lot of money. The soldiers call Leo over to play with them, but Kelly refuses and starts bullying Leo. He taunts him for not being a native and says he's from the poor class and not on his level. Leo just smirks and reminds him that he just beat him up a little while ago. Kelly gets furious and wants to fight again, but his friends hold him back. That night, all the soldiers are asleep. Leo wakes up, sneaks over, and steals a bottle of alcohol from a sleeping Kelly. He grabs Will and they go to hang out with Hazel and Susie. It's clear that Susie has a crush on Leo, and she asks him to be careful in the war. The next day, the soldiers all board a ship, heading toward the battlefield. Leo has nightmares and wakes up terrified. And then, a terrifying attack hits the ship. A shell is fired at them and it explodes. The ship sinks completely, and a huge number of soldiers die. Leo is still alive. He pulls Will up from under the water. Just then, he spots enemy planes in the sky. One of them opens fire on them. Leo grabs Will and dives underwater. He surfaces and puts Will on a piece of the ship's wreckage, trying to wake him up until he finally regains consciousness. Leo starts gathering any debris he can find from the wreckage, hoping to find something useful. At the same time, we see another surviving soldier, sitting on a barrel in the water, holding a gun and firing at the enemy planes. But suddenly, something strange pulls him underwater, and he never reappears. Back to Leo, who is still salvaging debris with Will's help. They tie the pieces together, securing them to the raft they're on. Suddenly, Leo feels a strange movement in the water around him and is startled by a soldier named Tom, who appears in front of him with a head injury. Leo pulls him up onto a wooden plank. Tom took a severe blow to the head, and from the shock, he keeps hallucinating and asking where the ship is. Just then, they hear a strange sound nearby. Leo mimics the sound, trying to find its source. And then, he hears his comrades responding. Moments later, they appear and approach them. They tell them the signal device they have is stuck, emitting an air raid warning sound. This means the device is broken, and they can't use it. They all gather on the wooden raft, devastated over their friends who died. Out of 200 soldiers, only 7 are left, and 3 of them are injured. After a while, they calm down and take inventory of all the supplies, weapons, and ammo they have. Unfortunately, all they have is 1 rifle, 4 hand grenades, a jerry can of gasoline, a knife, and 1 rescue flare. Will starts calculating distances on the map to pinpoint their location, and he actually succeeds. They discover they are very far from the nearest port. The bigger problem is the thick fog surrounding them completely. This means they're forced to wait for the weather to clear before they can move. But luckily, the fog gives them one advantage. Enemy forces won't be able to spot them easily. Plus, the current has pulled them far away from the shipwreck, so any plane searching the crash site won't find them. Amid this despair, Will spots a boat in the distance. He tells them it's their only way out. And suddenly, the real horror begins. A giant shark bursts out of the water and grabs their buddy, Bobby. Bobby tries to fight back with all his might, but it's useless. The shark rips him in half. Leo tells his comrades that it's a great white shark, and he knows it's a female because of its enormous size. Kelly asks him skeptically, "How do you know that?" Leo replies that he's lived in the water a long time and knows all about marine creatures. Kelly doesn't like this and starts shouting, wanting to find a way to get rid of this monster. Leo screams at him, "Shut up and don't talk." He explains that sharks are drawn to blood, movement, and sound. That's why they have to stay perfectly still and quiet. In that moment, Leo flashes back to the painful memory of his brother, Archie. Remembering the day the shark attacked and ate him, Leo snaps out of his memory and into a new nightmare. A drop of blood is leaking from the wreckage they're on. This brings the shark back, and it attacks them, pulling their comrade, Stan, into the water. Leo grabs him instantly, refusing to let go, and screams at his buddies to throw a grenade into the water. They do it, and the grenade explodes right next to the shark. The shark lets go of Stan, and his friends manage to pull him back up quickly. But the sight is horrific. The shark ate his leg. Stan is bleeding profusely. Will quickly ties his belt around the leg to stop the bleeding. Leo holds Stan tightly to keep him steady, because Stan is in shock, unable to believe his leg is gone. Leo makes a bold decision. He has to get to the boat so they can escape. He turns on his flashlight, looks at the wreckage in front of him, and decides to jump across the debris to reach the boat. He ties a rope around his waist and gives the other end to Will to hold. Leo starts jumping across the pieces of wreckage, but unfortunately, he falls into the water. He scrambles to get out as fast as he can. In that instant, the shark senses the movement and speeds toward Leo with terrifying speed. Leo leaps onto the wreckage, getting close to the boat, but suddenly, the shark appears right in front of him. His comrades open fire on it until it backs off. Leo seizes the opportunity and jumps onto the boat, yelling at his friends to pull him in fast. As they're pulling him, the shark comes back and wraps the rope around Leo. Leo pulls a grenade from his pocket and throws it at the shark. When the grenade explodes, the shark vanishes. Leo manages to get the boat back to his friends, but they're horrified to discover the boat's engine is broken. Suddenly, the shark returns and starts ramming the wreckage repeatedly. Leo and his friends are about to be thrown into the water. Kelly loses his cool, pulls the pin on a hand grenade, and gets ready to throw it at the shark. But Leo stops him at the last second, telling him he could blow them all up. Besides, they only have 2 grenades left. Kelly calms down and backs off. After a while, things quiet down, and everyone falls asleep from exhaustion. But disaster strikes while Kelly is asleep. It seems he fell asleep holding the grenade. It slips from his hand and rolls toward Stan. Leo wakes up and is horrified to see Stan spot the grenade. In a heroic sacrifice, Stan throws himself on top of the grenade, sacrificing himself to absorb the blast so his friends won't get hurt. Leo is furious and attacks Kelly, beating him for being so reckless and causing their friend's death. But Will yells at them to stop fighting. Afterward, they gather Stan's remains and drop them into the sea. Time passes. Leo feels hungry and opens a can of food to eat, only to find that someone ate it all. Just then, Tom, the soldier with the head injury, tells him he did it and informs him there's plenty of food back on the ship. Leo realizes Tom is still suffering from shock and confusion. He gently tells him the ship is gone. At that moment, Kelly tells his friends he always thought he'd die from a bullet in battle. He never expected to die of hunger and thirst in the middle of the ocean. And suddenly, it starts to rain. They all rejoice and start collecting the rainwater to drink. That night, Leo wakes up to the sound of Tom screaming. The shark attacked him and pulled him into the water. His friends all try to save him, but it's no use. At this point, Leo starts hallucinating from the trauma and hunger. He walks toward the water, calling out for his brother, Archie, and suddenly, he falls in. His friends quickly pull him out before the shark can get him. And then, they hear the sound of a plane in the sky. They're overjoyed, light the flare they have, and shout at the pilot at the top of their lungs. But their joy turns to terror. The plane is from the enemy. It opens fire on them. They all jump into the water, but one of them doesn't make it in time and is shot. Leo and Kelly pull themselves out of the wreckage only to see the plane is coming back around. At the same time, the shark is closing in on them. Leo tells his friends to jump in the water. He grabs the rifle and fires at the plane. Kelly and the injured soldier jump in, and Will jumps in with them. Unfortunately, the plane hits Leo with a bullet. Underwater, Kelly does something horrific. He uses the injured soldier as bait. He shoves him toward the shark. Will is stunned when he sees him do it. When they get out of the water, Will checks on Leo and tells him the bullet went straight through him. Just then, they realize Leo managed to hit the plane and watch as it crashes in front of them. Leo asks them what happened to their other friend. Kelly coldly replies that the shark got him. But Will exposes him, saying he's lying. He tells Leo that Kelly pushed their friend toward the shark. Leo snaps, attacking Kelly and fighting him. During the fight, Kelly's hand dips into the water. The shark comes and attacks him, pulling him under. But Will and Leo grab him and pull him back onto the wreckage. They treat his wound to stop the bleeding. Kelly calms down and apologizes to them, saying he's filled with regret for killing their friend. As they're talking, They're shocked to see the enemy pilot standing on the wreckage of his plane, walking toward them. Leo sees the pilot is holding a sword and tells Will to throw the last grenade at him. Will gets ready to do it, but is surprised when the pilot throws his sword down. Will hesitates, thinking the pilot is surrendering, but as soon as the pilot gets close, he attacks them. The grenade falls from Will's hand. Leo lunges at the pilot and fights him. It's clear the pilot has advanced combat skills, and since Will and Leo are both injured, neither of them can beat him. At that moment, the pilot looks at Kelly and sees that he's dead. He turns away from him and prepares to attack Will and Leo to finish them off, but Kelly grabs him by the leg. It turns out he was playing dead to get the jump on the pilot. Kelly has a grenade that fell from the pilot during the fight. He attaches it to the pilot's leg, grabs him, and jumps with him into the water. The grenade explodes, killing Kelly and the pilot in the blast. From the force of the explosion, Will and Leo are thrown into the water. They swim as fast as they can and climb onto the boat before the shark can attack them. Then, Will finds a toolbox floating nearby. He grabs it, hoping to fix the boat's engine, but he's stunned to see Leo take the last grenade and slip underwater. He waits patiently until the shark gets close. As soon as it attacks, Leo shoves his hand and the grenade right into its mouth. The shark bites off Leo's arm, swallowing the grenade with it. As the shark swims away, the grenade detonates, and the shark's entire body explodes. Leo sees his brother Archie in front of him, telling him he has avenged him. Leo snaps out of it when Will pulls him back onto the boat. Will can't comprehend that Leo just sacrificed his own arm to kill the shark. After a short while, Will manages to fix the boat's engine. He starts the boat, heading home with Leo.